Good morning, everyone. I see we have a lot of folks in the public domain today, so we welcome you. My name is Steve Dersham. I'm going to be covering the meeting for Judge Grind. He was unable to make the meeting this morning, so in his stead, I'm going to cover the festivities. So at this time, at 8:01, is it 8 or 8:01? I can't see. 8:01, I will call the meeting to order. And at this time, if we will entertain public comment that's not on the agenda. And if there's anybody here for public comment or anything. Yes, hi.
Hi,
If you want to just state your name and your municipality for the record, so we.
Yes, I'm Carrie Reisman. I live in College Township. Have been here since 1982 in Southern County. So a long-term resident. And I'm very concerned about the fact that we are not offering outdoor recreation at this facility. And as per is required by law, I understand you have a urban categorization, which makes it quote unquote legal, but we're not urban. And there's no reason that we can't be providing the best facility for rehabilitation for inmates. So I am really anxious for us to conduct a feasibility study. I was here in the fall and asked for that, for a feasibility study, and it was granted at that time. And it's a feasibility study because a lot of people in the county are concerned about this.
Okay, thank you. Again, this is actually the recreation, outdoor recreation discussion will be appearing under old business this morning. So just.
I'm talking about outdoor recreation, not alternatives to outdoor recreation. That committee clearly has stated that it's not interested in outdoor recreation.
Okay, all right.
So we are here because we want outdoor recreation, which is not what that committee is about.
Oh, no, I got it. Okay, all right. Connie.
I just want to say that it's rumored that there was an executive session after the last Board of Inspectors meeting, and according to the Sunshine Laws, you should announce that today at the beginning of this meeting and give the topic of discussion.
Yes, I was going to bring it up when we did the minutes.
Okay.
Yes.
Rachel Summers. I've actually been a resident of the State College Borough for 36 years, and I'm very concerned that there is no access to outdoor recreation for inmates. It's widely held and known that outdoor access is an important determinant of mental health, and incarcerated people have the right to that access. And so there should be something done about this. People have been speaking about this, and as you can see, there are many concerned residents. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I got one more. I'm Josh Helke. I'm a local business owner up in Phillipsburg and a high proponent of just outdoor recreation in central PA for tourism and economics. And super embarrassing once again to come back half a year later and have this all, nothing really have gotten traction. So as a business, we are preparing to start highlighting the fact that Center County has an Ironman and all this cool stuff, but we don't have much other progressive stuff for actual humans. So.
Appreciate that. All right, thank you. Yes.
I'm Cynthia Carpenter. I've been a 35-year resident of the Borough of Colorado. I've been working on this for over a year, at times coming to speak to you all. My background is in the study and application of light. To start out, I'd like to ask you all enjoying the gorgeous weather. The past couple of years, people who are housed in this facility don't receive that support, and what it does for one. But I do think I can take a moment, and I do have a prepared statement. Sometimes we are the inheritors of uninformed bad decisions, which then unfortunately cause bad situations that are harmful to people. evolved over a 200,000 year period to be outside with sunlight, shade light, nature, and physical movement through walking and running during the day, sitting by a fire during the evening, followed by sleep and darkness at night. Only 144 years ago, the electric, which is a drop in a 200,000 time period. Only 144 years ago, the electric incandescent light bulb was invented for a safer way of seeing during the evening. During the 1960s and 70s, school designers decided that schools didn't need windows because they thought that a view distracted students, which we all know was a very bad decision, negatively affecting many students. Today's schools are being designed to bring the most amount of usable, natural, full-spectrum light into the schools because students do better academically. There is less absenteeism for students and teachers with high exposure to natural daylight. And this is demonstrated through scientific studies. The following is a list of positive biological effects for people who receive high levels of natural full-spectrum daylight at the intensity that daylight delivers during the day, gradual low warm light at sunrise and sunset, and darkness for sleeping. There's an improved melatonin regulation. Sunlight during the day coupled with darkness at night generates natural wake-sleep cycles. Improved sleep generates the body's natural healing properties. Improved mental health, including reduced risk for depression. Improved cognitive functions, improved immune system, improved skin conditions, improved eyesight, improved resting heart rate, improved blood pressure, improved oxygen in the body, improved vitamin D intake, reduction in the risk for certain cancers. As reported in the CDT, Larry A. David passed away while in custody at CCC. He was incarcerated since April 2021. 2 years of incarceration in a facility that has no view to the outside and very, very limited exposure to the intense full spectrum light of daylight. We physically demand to maintain basic health. I can only imagine how Mr. David's health had deteriorated over the 2 years of his incarceration, a time in which he didn't have a trial to assess his guilt or innocence. Shame on us, Center County, and shame on CCCF, who oversaw his care. It is time to provide outdoor recreation for the residents of Center County Correctional Facility, so the people who reside here receive basic human health requirements through exposure to outside daylight and darkness at night. Let's correct this very bad situation so that the inmates and guards, also the guards, can live and work in a humane facility. Let's let the people who are incarcerated be able to have good health through days like this, where there's sun and outdoor exposure and exercise.
Anyone else? Oh, yes. Hi.
Good morning. Hi, hello. This is Tyson Daniels. I'm coming to you online. I'm a 30-plus year resident of Ferguson Township, and I would like to speak out in favor of actual outdoor recreation for our inmates at Center County Correctional Facility. I believe that it's very important for people to spend time out in the daylight and the fresh air, and I would encourage you to please do a feasibility study.
All right, thank you. Appreciate that. Yes, sir.
My name's Dan Kephart, and I live in Ballsburg. Lived there for about 20 years. I'm a retired physician. For decades, there's been this increasing interest in vitamin D and how many things it does for the body. At the beginning, it almost felt like a fad to me because it helps this and it does that. I could hardly believe it, but I think the evidence is in. that it's integral to many parts of physiology. And I'm interested in bringing it up because several things are going terrible. And I didn't know what was bothering me. But ultimately, I went in to see my doctor and they said, wow, we better check your vitamin D level. And yeah, it was really low. And they gave me a mega supplement for 6 weeks. Yeah, it did a world of good. Yes, the way your body makes vitamin D, in part, one step of that is to get natural sunlight for a certain amount of time each day. And I think it would be important for the inmates to get that for their well-being and even for their potential for long-term rehabilitation and the right mental frame of mind. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Doctor. Yes, sir.
Hi, I'm Janet Swim. I'm from Harris Township, lived in State College before that, been there about 30 years. I'm an environmental psychologist, and so I teach environmental psychology at the university. And one of the most basic findings we always talk about every time I teach this is the importance of going outside and the ability to be outside and the physiological and psychological repercussions of not being outside. It's one of the most fundamental findings that I talk about in my class, and so it's really something that's basic that the people here need to have exposure to.
No, yes, sir.
Hi, I'm Jeff Davidson. I've been developing a cancer therapy for a long period of time and working within the pharmaceutical industry. I'm a long-time Center County resident, about 30 years. And one of the things that is clearly true if you look at any of the literature, and there's lots of it, is the importance of access to the outdoors. And it's a fundamental human right. It's an important right as well for us to exercise and for us to allow others to exercise. One of the concerns I know is always money. We need to keep in mind, however, that in this case, we're the custodians of whether these people are allowed to go outside, which include this as well as the inmates of the correctional facility. And as one of the wealthiest nations in the world, and frankly, as one of the more wealthy counties in the state, we have the ability, if we choose to exercise it, to deploy some of that resource towards solving this problem. There was a problem that occurred, frankly, when this facility was designed, but now we need to own that problem. It's a problem every day that we continue it. That was a problem that happened then, but it's not an irreconcilable problem. It's one that we can go back and address. And I would encourage at least taking small steps, immediately beginning a process of evaluating how access could be provided, what it would look like, what it would cost, and then we can look at how do we fund that. But if we don't take the first steps of actually committing to figuring out what the solution to the problem is, we're going to continue to be here, frankly, in a frustrating environment for you and for us. And so we would love to see you take some steps forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
My name is Gail Addison, born and raised here, and my husband and I live in Harris Township now for the last 23 years. And seeing that you are calling this committee Alternatives to Outdoor Recreation is very concerning to me. And I hope that you are listening and hear the comments of many experts here and those of us who just know that outdoor time is important to all of us, mentally, physically, emotionally. And so we're here to support that, not alternatives, but outdoor recreation. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
My name is Katarina Kostadinova. I've been a resident of Center County for about 14 years now. And I'm here to urge you for a feasibility study in order to move on actual outdoor recreation. I'm not gonna make the argument about how important outdoor recreation is. I think it's a point, a lot of people have made that point, and it's quite clear how important it is. I am going to make the point that it's kind of laughable that refer to, this is the correctional institution as a facility for rehabilitation while also denying its residents basic human rights. And steps need to be made to move forward on this. A feasibility has to be done, and actual outdoor recreation needs to happen. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Anyone from
Yes,
there?
sir.
Good morning. I in no way compare my life, my experience with the experts in this room because there are many. And their pleas are poignant. They touch the heart, they should. I have one small statement and then I have a question I'd like to ask as an addendum to that. But I consider myself an expert as well. I've lived in State College for 2 years, plus the 30 years I spent in Rikers Penitentiary. Not counting the 6 years I spent in Grayford Penitentiary. So I know something about outdoor rec inside of that kind of environment. And believe me, it's vital. It's vital. It saves lives, it saves minds, mentalities. I've been in situations where we were not allowed until a rule by the courts mandated that all prisoners in Pennsylvania, or none, should be required to have at least 2 hours of outdoor rec. This is the issue. Outdoor rec, not urban rec, not rec inside of a room with a window that they can't even reach or look out. But 2 hours of outdoor rec every day, at least 5 days a week. And in restricted housing, at least 1 hour a day. They said they're human beings. They all require this. They all need this. This is a course that says this. And we are a nation down the laws. Are we not? That is the law. Why are we trying to navigate this? Why are we trying to go around this? But as you can see, I'm a proponent of outdoor recreation. And I say this from my heart. These guys need this. It would be better for everyone involved, including the county, if this happened. Now, the question I have is, on the way here, or once we got here, I noticed some of the officers outside setting up what looked like barbecues or something like that. And someone says it may be an officer appreciation day or something like that, which is, oh, that is so appreciative because those guys do some incredible work. Incredible work, and they deserve something like that. Notice, having a barbecue outside. We're not asking for a barbecue, we're just asking the situation we're asking to go outside. So that's my comment for today. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Anyone else?
Thank you. Good morning. Bart Kissling, Center County resident. I appreciate you hearing our comments. I'm thinking back to the April meeting when the topic of a feasibility study was raised, and I'm looking at the April minutes, and I just want to read to you. It says, Judge Grine explained to the community advocates the process of a study. Next month, the study could potentially be added to the agenda. I'm really disappointed that here we are at the next meeting and it's not on the agenda. And I hope that you're hearing from the community that discussion of a feasibility study is really important to us. I also want to just share with you, and I'm happy to share digital copies. So this is an article from the Journal of the American Academy of Psychiatry and Law. It's an article that came out in January, written by 2 medical doctors. And at the end, they have general principles for the provision of outdoor access to incarcerated people, that's for incarcerated individuals. These restrictions should be justified with specific reasons, and these reasons should be examined critically. They also say if a correctional facility relies on indoor accommodations as a replacement for outdoor access, the facility should justify why outdoor access cannot be feasibly provided under present circumstances, as well as the nature of the outdoor exposures provided by indoor accommodations. They also say jails and prisons should have clearly written policies regarding outdoor access that describe the potential reasons and time periods for restricting outdoor access, as well as protocols to be followed by correctional staff for implementing or lifting these restrictions. And then they say at the very end, this is the last thing I'll share, jail and prison authorities should strive to expand access to outdoor recreation wherever and whenever possible, not only because of research indicating its role in supporting mental health and other health-related outcomes, but also in recognition of outdoor access as a basic human right. That's California. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just have a question, Steve.
Sure.
We can't, well, other times I've been able to see the people who are on the Zoom. Could you at least tell us how many people are on it?
I guess we can take a roll call of folks out there.
Seconds, and I can.
12, including
12.
us, but 2 of those are the sheriff.
Yeah.
So
10.
10.
It's being recorded.
Yes. Yes.
At this point, we have over 30 people. The commissioners need us to bring more people, we can. We don't want to do that. I think it's pretty clear. And I think that the county is vulnerable to lawsuits, as is the state, and not just the county. By who feel that their incarcerated loved ones are not being treated appropriately, not being given their basic human rights. Please start the feasibility study.
Yes.
My name is Dan Gus. I'm at State College and live right now in Township. And my background, I am an engineer, civil and environmental engineer, and I look at this as it's an engineering problem, really. You just need to look at the facility and figure out how to do this. It doesn't seem like that difficult a problem, given the facilities you have, the capabilities you have in the county. You know, the funds probably maybe not available, but they can be made available. And it's a really just solvable and working.
My name is Ashley. I'm a community member for the community. I live in State College. I'm just here with these.
Excuse me, just could whoever's online, there's a lot of background noise. If you could please mute yourselves, that would be. Thank you. I didn't mean to.
No, that's fine.
That's
Yeah.
distracting, of course.
So I've heard former inmates speak and the impact that the lack of outdoor recreation here in this facility had on them, and it was very powerful testimony. And I just want to say I'm really sad. I don't think any of us want to bring further harm to anyone. The mental and physical aspects of not having access to outdoor recreation.
Thank you. Thank you, Ashley. Is there anyone else? Oh.
Hello, everyone. My name is Anton Alquin. I've been a resident of Center County for 4 years, and I am, as of Sunday, a recent graduate of the Pennsylvania State University. And as a student, I've worked with data, I've worked with statistics, I know logistics, and I know that the feasibility study for outdoor rec is possible. I know outdoor rec is possible. And I want to sit down with you all and have that conversation about the data, the logistics, and all the things necessary to make that happen. But I don't want to do that today. Today, I want to talk about something that I heard a lot as a recent graduate. I've heard a lot about how our generation has a bright future, especially the generation that just graduated from Penn State. And yet this is contrasted by about 60% of the inmates currently being the same age as me or younger. And as I sit down and reflect on the 4 years that I've had, I can't help but keep thinking about this contrast. This contrast of where I stand and where the inmates stand in relation to how much sunlight they get. This contrast is unfair, unjust, and in a community that truly cares, is changeable. And so I just want to sit here, give this all to you today, that outdoor rec is the first step in proving that this community truly believes that my generation does have a bright future. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else? Going once, going twice. Well, thank you all. Appreciate you coming in, and certainly we do hear, and we will respect your comments and address them. At this time, I would ask for approval of the minutes from the April 13th, 2023 meeting. Second. Any additions or corrections to those minutes? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. All right, motion passes. And I would like to address Connie's point of the executive session that occurred after the last meeting was, I guess, I think it was under the guise of facility security, I believe is what it was. And personnel, yes. And personnel. So we covered those bases. Okay. Let me see. Get my glasses on here. All right, I'll turn it over to Glenn for facilities report.
Good morning, everybody. As Mr. Moore mentioned earlier, this is Corrections Employee Week, so we are doing a cookout for the staff today. Not only is it Corrections Employee Week, it is also Nurses Week. Even though they qualify under both categories, I want to recognize our partners in Prime Care Medical, who's been a long time partners with Center County, 23 years, 24 years, long time. Over the course of the year, of course, we work with a lot of staff, and we wanted to recognize some special individuals this year. We have awarded Officer Mike Shear the 7-3 Officer of the Year. 3-11 was Officer Nathan Richner. 11-7 Officer of the Year was Officer Dane McKee. And by a unanimous vote, the Employee of the Year is Reentry Specialist Ms. Vanessa Billett, who a lot of you have heard about before. We have a plaque for Vanessa and everybody else. We made Vanessa come to the meeting.
I heard she was going to give a speech.
A little bit about each of these staff members. Correctional Officer Michael Shear has been a graduate of Bellefonte Area High School. He was hired as a corrections officer at the old jail in October of 1991. He was part of the staff, was transitioned to the current facility in 2005. Mike has been involved with the Central Booking Center since its inception in 2008, and as such has an unparalleled knowledge of its operation. He has encountered many unique situations with the legal processes and paperwork. He is relied upon by many other officers to navigate some complex issues within Central Booking. He's built strong working relationships with all of our local partner criminal justice agencies and courts throughout the Commonwealth. At multiple times, Mike has handled practically all of the Central Booking operation without supervision, very little assistance. While working in Central Booking, he has been strong. He has remained dedicated to his coworkers and to the operation of the facility. He was a longtime union steward and is always willing to assist other officers. He prefers to work a steady amount of overtime. Mike is a very straightforward person and strong-willed, but is also very caring. He is very hands-on and does not hesitate to help. Staff know that if anything happens, Mike would always have your back. The 3-11 Officer of the Year, Nathan Richner. Nathan is a graduate of Bald Eagle Area High School. He studied diesel and tech motorsports fabrication at WyoTech prior to beginning at the facility. He was hired as a corrections officer in January 2018. Since he has been the intake position in February of 2022, Nate has become proficient in that post so he can work without close supervision. He has developed a very good verbal de-escalation skills and has used those to resolve many difficult situations. This year, he has really taken on a leadership role during emergency responses and use of forces. Nate remains calm, continues to attempt to de-escalate where possible, and gives clear direction to the team members if use of force is needed. Because of these strengths, he is often relied upon by other staff on the 3 to 11 shift. The 11 to 7 Officer of the Year, Dane McKee. Dane is also a graduate of the Baltimore Area High School. He holds an associate's degree in criminal justice from South Hills Business School and Technology. He was hired as a correction officer in July of 2014. As the most senior floater on the 11 to 7 shift, Dane has years of experience working in the more challenging areas like intake and central booking. He is certified in all aspects of operations like the full body scanner and can work any position in the correctional facility efficiently. And last but not least, our Employee of the Year, Vanessa Billett. As a reentry specialist, she's also a graduate of Baltimore Area High School. She began her career at the facility as a correction officer in December of 2009. Vanessa served as a member of the Corrections Emergency Response Team. She became a staff trainer in June of 2013, a defensive tactics instructor in September of that same year. In September of 2021, Vanessa transitioned and became the facility's reentry specialist and transitioned to an inmate services role. She then trained as an instructor for Decision Points programming, and she also completed the Ohio Risk Assessment, ORAS system training. She has become a member of the Center County Crisis Intervention Team in January of 2023. Vanessa serves as a key connection between the incarcerated individuals and the services they may need outside of the facility. She handles all of the outside clearance and work release opportunities and any good time for which individuals may be eligible, good time or earned time. She created and administers the facility's PennDOT ID program that allows people to obtain or renew their state identification. In her role, Vanessa often works with community members such as facility volunteers, service providers, Centerpiece, and numerous local businesses. In both public and private meetings, many of these community members have praised Vanessa's work. They compliment her dedication, hard work, responsiveness for helping many incarcerated individuals succeed. She continues to advocate for and work towards improvement to the programming and opportunities of the facility.
Is there any truth that you taught Shane how to cook those chickens out there?
I'm not getting involved in that one. All right, we'll move on to our population snapshot as of April 30th, 2023. And that day we had a population of 201. Of that, Center County population was 120, 99 males, 21 females. Of that, 36 were on county sentence. Not sentenced were 74, and the state sentence were 10. Our Tennant County population on that date, we had 81 individuals, 14 females, 67 males. County sentence of 57, not sentenced for out of counties 23, and 1 state sentence. The Center County unsentenced population breakdown of the 74, 50 are on new charges, 10 are on probation and parole violations only, and 14 are on probation and parole with new charges. So that takes our total unsentenced to 74. This just shows the population trend throughout the month, the blue line being Center County. We started the month with 125 incarcerated individuals, finished the month with 120. We started the month with 67 Tennant County individuals and finished the month with 81. Our Prime Care Medical Report for the month of April. COVID testing, we administered 150 tests, 0 positives. Yeah. During the month, 6 new vaccines were administered. Total sick calls seen for the month, 151. Total seen by the physician or the PA for the month, 188. Total outside medical consultations were 20. Total returning citizens on medical medication were 112, or approximately 57.4% of our population. Total on over-the-counter medications were 62. Seen by the mental health clinician, 212 individuals. The psychiatrist seen 76. Total number on mental health medications, 100, or approximately 51.3% of our population. Those with co-occurring disorders for the month were 27, 11 from Center, 16 from Tennant counties. Only 12 of those individuals were medication compliant upon admission to our facility. Suicide watches for the month were 15. Suicide watches for those individuals also under the detox protocols were 3. We had a total of 16 detoxing. The substance detox totals are as follows. We combined heroin, opiates, and fentanyl. We had 1. Meth, we had 6. Alcohol was 3. Suboxone was 3. And 3 had multiple addiction of those mentioned substances. May is also Mental Health Awareness Month. We want to recognize that. Our snapshot on April 30th. We have 38 individuals on level A, or stability code A, 24 on B, 105 on C, and 16 on D. And then we have the breakdown there for each county if anybody was interested. We have 18 individuals who are awaiting placement. That includes those who refuse to meet with mental health. There's some individuals that won't sit down with Miss Jamie to talk to them, so we can't give them a rating, so they remain in that awaiting placement category.
For C, could you explain to people what that is?
Excuse me?
Could you, C, like category C?
Category C is you're being treated for a mental health issue and you are compliant with the treatment program and the medications. Category D is the most severe of the ratings, which means you may not be compliant with the mental health program laid out for you, and you may not be medication compliant. Did I sum that up pretty good?
Yes.
Yes. And the Ds also carry with them a diagnosis of serious mental illness.
That's the shortened version of each of those explanations. And every couple months we cover that for the new people in the audience. Work release for the month of April. For the entire month, we had 22 outside working, based on our average daily population of 39.6. That's about 55% of sentenced individuals for Center County only who are outside working. The month we had 6 at Centerpiece, 12 employed by various employers. We had 4 on facility grounds. And we also tracked those who do not go outside. We had 4 who have refused to participate in work release. We had 5 on detainers, 3 disciplinary reasons, 2 not medically cleared, and 3 not eligible per the courts. Programming opportunities. We haven't talked about these in a while, but I will mention all of our programs are back in person, except for I believe yoga still does in person and on Zoom. We have 24 various programs in the facilities for those incarcerated. And I have a note, Ms. Connie Martin teaches the parenting class. She's going to be starting another one soon. And as a surprise to Connie, she has been long advocating for her class to count towards being eligible for contact visits. We are going to include you on that list now. So those who graduate.
That's one of the original goals, was to have people have touching their children. And anybody who has a kid knows how hard it would be if that weren't possible.
Thank you. We've had some discussions, and I know you've advocated long to have your class added to that. Previously, just counted it for the classes offered by the Youth Service Bureau. They haven't been able to provide us the number of classes we needed, so we've decided to include Connie's in that as well. So,
thanks.
Thought that would make you
very happy.
A great surprise for you. Also, during the month of April, volunteer Nancy Spooner, again, as she has the past several years, worked with reentry specialist Vanessa Billett to conduct voter registration and handle requests for absentee ballots for the upcoming primary election. Arrangements have been made with the elections office for the retrieval of the ballots cast, and the out-of-county ballots have been mailed out by U.S. mail. The bottom left picture there is actually a picture of our ballot box located in inmate services. You can see it is secured. There's a slide piece in the top that you can't put any ballots in until it's unlocked. The elections director was up and unlocked that. They are the only ones that have a key to it. That's one of the only areas I don't have a key to in the facility is the warden. So they will come up and retrieve the ballots and then re-secure the box.
need to correct you, that's Nancy Wrong.
Oh, yeah.
This Nancy.
Wrong Nancy. I apologize.
We have two very involved Nancy's, but I
Yes.
want to make sure that Nancy Rommel is hired.
Yes, I didn't catch that. Thank you. Yeah, both Nancy's are very active in our facility, so. That's all I have for facility reports, sir.
All right, I'm gonna have a comment before we finish, but is there any questions for Glenn from the board? No? Any questions from the group gathered for Glenn? I just want to take, we really didn't give Vanessa and the rest of the crew quite the round of applause that they deserve for their great work here at the correctional facility. I would just like to express on behalf of the Board of Inspectors and everybody in our organization how important it is to recognize folks that do it right to make a difference in our facility. I just want to say thank you, and if we could all have a round of applause.
They were all invited to do the scheduling things that, just didn't work out. Sorry.
Steve, I'll jump on that. About a year ago, if you look at our work release numbers, they were one hand single digit, and really one person was responsible for reinstating and getting our work release program up and running again after my predecessors basically decimated it. And so that really was been a heavy lift by your team, but without you, it would not have been done. So thank you very much.
Well, and I would add that it's been a priority of yours and the courts to reinstate those.
Yeah, so we didn't do anything. Thank you for it as well.
Great, thank you. I'm going to just use a little discretion. Is there anything from Prime Care would you like to share for the good of the order?
Nothing specific. We continue to work well. I had our quarterly meeting this week earlier. As Warren indicated, we have a long-term, strong relationship. Working together now to tackle the MAT process as that rolls out. That's probably the most significant move forward, but steady progress has been made.
Maybe we can take a moment for the folks that may be gathered that aren't familiar with what that MAT program is going to look like.
We have long worked on attempting to get medication-assisted treatment for those affected by opioid addiction. It is a very long process coming up with policy that was almost non-existent maybe a year and a half ago. So a lot of facilities are doing trial and error. We believe we put together a pretty good policy, which was approved by the board back in December. We just had a meeting, as Tom said, on Tuesday, discussing some medical issues between a potential provider and Prime Care. So we have another meeting we're getting scheduled so the doctors can talk on what needs to happen, because that's way above my level. I can talk about security, but when it comes to medical care, we're going to defer to Prime Care and let them talk to the physicians on the street who we've talked to as well. It will be an injectable. We're hoping to have those who choose to participate in the program have Sublocade, which is a one-time-a-month injection, and it lasts all month. Our goal is to get them on that program prior to them leaving, and then once they transition from our facility back into the community, they'll be set up with the community provider prior to being released from our facility to have their appointments, so hopefully they continue that. As part of this, counseling is mandatory. The counseling will be done in-house by Crossroads Counseling, that we've also had a long-term relationship with. We were hoping to have it up and running by now, but there's just a lot of medical complexity, so we want to make sure we do it right. So that's why we're having these additional meetings, just to discuss medical stuff. Because we're hoping not to have to change gears once we start everything. The county recently, myself, Kathy Arbogast from Drug and Alcohol, and Carrie Hall, the criminal planning director, we worked collaboratively on applying for a grant. And the county was recently awarded $500,000 for this program. It was a very competitive process. We were very thankful that our grant application got accepted and approved. So, but just to give you an example, the Sublocade injections are very expensive. They're about $1,800 per injection. It's not a cheap medication, so that 500, depending on how many participate, that $500,000 could go pretty quick. If we have somebody here 6 or 7 months that participates and gets it every month, we'll go through that $500,000 pretty quickly if we have a high participation. So
Hopefully we do.
yes.
And I just want to continue with the appreciation. I know it's nurse appreciation, and your medical staff is here with us today, and thank you for everything that you do. And I would ask for a round of applause for the folks that keep us.
It just struck me that your medical folks, and maybe you work in other state correctional facilities or county, are any of the facilities you work in, do they have outdoor rec?
We work in 80 other county level correctional facilities in 5 states, 37 of the 62 counties in Pennsylvania that have correctional facilities. We provide the care in. We have many that have outside rec. We also have many that do not, or have very consistent with what Center County has here.
Thank you. All right. Appreciate that. We'll move ahead to old business, which is the Alternative to Outdoor Recreation Committee report. Who would want to?
Mr. Moser, sure. All right. Thank you, Steve. We met. The committee, the Recreation Alternative Committee, met this past Tuesday. We had myself, DA Cantorna, Melanie was there, Vanessa was also there, and Denise, as well as our committee members, Irvin Moore, Nancy Rommel, and Klein Smelter were there as well. And we had what I thought was a pretty good and conversation about some opportunities. One of them, and I don't want to step on Cantorna's toes here, but one of them was a significant portion of our population, our tenant population that are sentenced, are not eligible for work release because that is set at that county level, not Center County's level. And so one of the outcomes of that meeting was to work with Judge Grine to potentially reach out to Schuylkill County, who is our largest tenant population of sentenced population, to see if they would begin authorizing work release for the inmates from that county. Until that judge signs off on that opportunity, Center County can't do anything with that population. So that was a good outcome from that discussion. There were some other recommendations and suggestions around our unsentenced population that would at least potentially in the future, there's going to require a little bit more discussion about security and how something like that might work around the unsentenced population, because the security is a little bit more of a concern because they don't have the clearances and the authorizations from the court. But to open up potentially in the future some other opportunities for them that might be on a rotating basis in small group kind of scenarios, maybe not every day or every other day, but more to come on that one in future inspector meetings as we flesh those out through that committee. But that's the things that we're focusing on, are these opportunities to get our individuals outside, and it might not be in that traditional sense that we've that you all are here for, but it's another opportunity to maybe address some of those needs as well. So I'll turn it over to you, King, if you have anything to add to that.
Sure. So the Center County Prison is not a long stay correctional facility. It's not a state prison. Probably the average stay for somebody here is somewhere between 60 and 70 days. We have a population that ends up here longer. And I think the number that I got was less than 10 that are here for longer than 6 months. And that's a really hard time for those individuals. Work release is really important for this population because the ones that are here longer, that are sentenced, are eligible for work release, which addresses many of the issues that we're concerned about. It is something that has them working, making money, and it needs to rehabilitate these, and they're necessarily outside. So as far as I'm concerned, and it has always been, when it comes to alternates to outdoor rec for our sentenced population, for them, for the community, for the rehabilitative needs, for the victims who are owed money, it's important to get them on work because that gives them the best chance when they're finished with their sentence to come back and be productive members. Because they might have a job, might have a little bit of money. So from my perspective, from what I can do, it's my perspective that that sentence population, we need to get them eligible for work release and get them somewhere other than inside the cell and the indoor rec possibilities. So we have Schuylkill County, who has a large tenant population, and the warden immediately reached out to the warden in Schuylkill County to say, can we get these people authorized for either work outside the walls, work release, work within? And we got an unfortunate response from the warden that we're not allowing these inmates to have work, which is an insurmountable problem for.
Yeah, that, in that warden's defense, when we had the conversation, when he was in favor of it, but he has bosses as well, and there was not a favorable move from his bosses to grant that, and so.
Somebody in Schuylkill County's made that decision.
Yeah.
And the only thing that
was not us.
No, in fact, the warden was immediate in seeking that. And the only thing that the thing that I know that we can do is I can ask the president judge to reach out to their president judge to allow work within and without, which would allow them to address some of the issues that are raised. So I think when you talk about the alternatives to outdoor rec, the biggest alternative that you're going to get is work release, increasing work release, and another outcome that we talked about was earn time, which the judge, our president judge, has simplified and removed some of the folks who couldn't get it. The earn time are now getting it. So two of the issues that are on my list of things to do, and that's what's on my list of things to do, are moving forward pretty quickly actually. Whether we can resolve them or not, that remains to be seen. That then leaves the unsentenced community that has got the urban rec or the gym with the door. So that's the scope of the issue, and gives you some of the background as to what the realities are for the facility, I think, in real terms. That's my update, and that's the things that I think I can affect within that subcommittee.
Thank you. All right. Any questions?
I'd like, as a member of the committee, I really appreciate the efforts that you're doing to contact the president judge in Schuylkill, and also Vanessa to get as many of our sentenced inmates out working. But I would point out that there's 200 people in the jail, in CCCF, and right now only 36 are eligible even for work release, and half of those, 22, actually get out. So 22 out of 201. Right. And so there will remain a large unsentenced population, either awaiting trial or awaiting a sentence for parole or probation violation or whatever, that will need ongoing outdoor recreation in the facility. If they're just to the outside at all. It's just trying to help educate everybody here.
Yeah. No, and actually, since there's a reporter sitting to my right, I shouldn't blame anybody from Schuylkill County. We just know that Schuylkill County is not allowed that work release, and we're going to seek it. We're not blaming anybody. Yes. And there are 48 individuals in counties that are currently here in Sutter County. So that's something to be light up.
I think.
I just
Got that, Brett?
Thanks,
Brett. Thank you, Brett.
1968. I think I was oldest one. Anyway, I'm curious about the Schuylkill people. Do they have to work in Schuylkill County, or do they work here?
Well, they're in our custody.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
They're in our custody now.
Okay, so they would work.
Yes, we would be responsible.
If you have a suggestion to outdoor rec, are we able to share that with Jason, or is that how that happens?
Sure.
Could online people speak to this?
Sure.
Any online people?
Yeah, just announce your name and your municipality if you would be so kind.
That was Marie Hamilton.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Open that one.
All right. Yes.
I couldn't actually hear what was.
My name is Marie Hamilton, and I've been a resident of Center County for 57 years. I'm the founder of Centerpiece and the co-founder of CACJ. former area representative of the Prison Society. And I've spent most of my life dedicated to monitoring conditions and taking programs into our Pennsylvania prisons and jails and setting up alternative to incarceration programs, as many of you know. Not providing outdoor recreation for those people who are not eligible for work release. This is cruel and punishment. It's not only cruel and unusual punishment, but we're breaking the law. Now, a justification you are giving is that we are urban jail. I don't think anyone sees that someone in an urban jail is not as deserving as someone in another jail, that they don't deserve outdoor recreation. I think we need to look at that. And isn't it ironic that we're entrusted to the care of the citizens who have broken laws, but by not having outdoor recreation, we are breaking a law? What kind of an example is this? We're not only breaking a law, but we're breaking a minimum standard, which is inflicting mental and physical trauma-related symptoms on those incarcerated here, and it also affects their families. We citizens of Center County must ask you to cease this cruel punishment. We love our work release and programs, but without outdoor recreation, we are imposing cruel punishment. Help us understand and let us help. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. All right, anyone? Oh,
So, it seems to me then that the title of the committee is actually correct. You're not actually looking at outdoor recreation.
That's how it was established, I think, back in December, as I recall.
Okay. So explain to me why you're not looking at outdoor recreation.
Well, I'm not gonna try to explain all that, but I will say that I will direct all the comments and the sentiment today personally to our board chair, so we can address
That would be
your
great.
concerns.
Yeah, great, thank you.
I was just gonna add that I think some time outdoor will probably help with your addiction treatment programs and your counseling. It'll facilitate those to be more successful.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, is there any other comments before? We have some reports. I guess actually under new business. I'm sorry, I forgot to put on my glasses. New business. We have hybrid discussion on hybrid meetings. Who would like to handle that?
I wanted to bring up, now that the pandemic is over, does the board wish to keep hybrid meetings? And if so, can we explore a different platform other than Blue Jeans? As mentioned earlier, I think she departed. With Blue Jeans, you can't see the participants with like other platforms, Teams, Zoom. So there's other options if the board chooses to continue the hybrid meetings. And if that's so, I would just like permission to explore other platforms to host the meeting on, so maybe we can see who is speaking and who is present clearer rather than this platform.
Is there any opposition to Glenn exploring other platforms of possible hybrid meeting attendance? I think it makes sense to at least within the short term, keep the hybrid process. But I also see some value in making sure that we have a platform that works too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that works. And we have consensus.
Okay.
You have a question? Oh, sure.
I have a comment on that. I'm Dan Gus from Harris Township. I'm on the UAJA board right over here, and we are very successfully having hybrid meetings. We can see people on the screen, and so we could talk to them about how they do it. They also are using the CCTV or the TV people.
Yeah.
Do the meetings.
We have this little fella here that sits in the middle of the room. It's called an owl that actually is watching you right now and providing data information to people that are online. So if we can just open that up so we can see it, so it flows both ways. And I think that's what we'll figure out a way to make this a little bit more interactive.
Yeah. So at UAJA, I don't think we're considering not doing at this point. It seems like it's here for the.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Connie?
I'd just like to say I serve on the Council for Aging Board, and they use this system, and we have no trouble getting the people's pictures up who are on. So I don't know whether it's.
Are they using Blue Jeans though?
They
No,
are,
that's
yeah.
what we're going to switch.
Okay, so, and I also would speak in favor of continuing the hybrid meeting because I'm not here December through April.
You like to attend, okay. All right, point taken. John, do you have anything to add to that?
I'll offer to work with Glenn. There are other means that we use throughout the county, so I'm sure there's something that'll work here.
Yeah, we can figure something out.
Yeah.
Certainly a lot more.
That's all I have for new business, sir.
Okay, perfect. All right, monthly reports is Carrie?
Carrie was not going to be able to join us online. I spoke to her. She had another commitment today, so.
Okay. All right, Prison Society, is it you, Connie?
Well, I'll speak first. When it became apparent to me that inmates here were not able to have contact visits with their children, did a little investigation and found that the Youth Service Bureau was providing 4 hours of training, and I thought we could do better than that. So I investigated the possibility of a more comprehensive program, and the Prison Society raised $9,000 to get a license and training materials and manuals for the Parenting Inside Out program. We have conducted 7 sessions, and my report reflects the attendance of those sessions. My big concern is that, especially during COVID, the dropout rate was extremely high. And it's a lot of work and a lot of time, and I'm happy to do it, but I have set a minimum standard of 6 participants in order to conduct the class. At this point, Daniel Fox has let me know that they have 4 men signed up, and I said, when you find 2 more, I'm ready to roll. So I appreciate the support we have from the administration here to allow those parents who participate in our program to have contact visits. It's really important.
So what, is there a metric or some sort of feedback that you're getting from that program to determine, how valuable it is and whether?
We have a pre and post survey device, which is usually part of my report when we finish a session, which Denise, I think, provides to the Board of Inspectors. It is a nationally recognized evidence-based program, and we follow a script, a real guide for the program. And so based on their research, it makes a difference in recidivism and relationships.
Does it count the number of smiles? Okay, all right. Thank you very much.
Steve, if I could.
Oh, yeah,
Society, in our last meeting, Nancy Spooner was elected as the other co-convener, so she'll be filling in, never be able to replace Janet, but she'll be helping us in leading the Center County chapter of the Pennsylvania Prison Society. And just for information's sake, we're very involved at Rockview at this particular point for several suicides and staff assaults. We had meetings over there this past week trying to get to the bottom of things. So that's just one of the things we do and thought we'd share it with you all.
Thank you. Anyone else? None. Move ahead to centerpiece.
We like to, I'd just also like to say thank you to Vanessa. We work very closely with Vanessa and appreciate the relationship that Centerpiece has with her. And we're thrilled that she was named as Employee of the Year. Centerpiece continues to work towards our goal of helping break down barriers and help individuals into successful reentry into the community. As mentioned, during the month of April, we had 6 individuals from CCCF. We have continued our Monday personal growth classes. Vanessa's been getting a lot of good feedback from those classes, and we get a lot of good feedback from the individuals that are taking them. We're going to finish a current series that we're doing right now with 7 Habits by Stephen Covey, and then Marie Hamilton will be coming to Centerpiece to do a few weeks of the nonviolent conflict resolution. So we're excited about that. In addition to the personal growth classes, they're continuing to learn new skills in the refinishing workshop. We currently are teaching them upcycling, recycling, and repurposing. Currently, we have a lot of nice things on the floor that they've just completed. They're just some amazing projects that they've done. It gives them, it makes them feel good about what they're doing, that they're doing something positive in their skills that they can take beyond incarceration. We're happy that they are also, those items, almost as soon as they come out, people from the community recognize that it's individuals that are incarcerated that have done it, and they just seem to sell very quickly. We're happy to announce that we partnered with Go Reentry for their Happier Free event in August, and we look forward to how the 2 organizations can work together. We work with them while they're incarcerated, and Mark does a phenomenal job working with them once they're out of no longer incarcerated, and it just seems like it's a match made in heaven that needs to happen. So we're excited about that. Center gives ends today at 8 p.m. and just wanted to let everybody know that any donations that are made to Center gives, Centerpiece is putting into the Tom Brewster Reentry Fund, and that fund, it helps individuals that there are a lot of organizations that provide things that like food and things like that, but there are some needs that individuals, once they are released in the community, that they struggle with, and there are no organizations that can help them. We provide bus passes. We've helped individuals with, if they get a job and they need steel-toed shoes, we help with that. So there are a lot of things that we can help them with if they're not traditional avenues. We also, through that, individuals that are returning, it doesn't matter if they've worked with us at Centerpiece or not. If they're setting up an apartment, we will provide everything that they need for their apartment so that they get successful reentry. So we're trying to do what we can to help. And we're always thankful for the opportunity to work with the men and women and the staff at CCCF, and continually looking for ways for individuals to have successful reentry. And it is our goal at Centerpiece to help reduce the recidivism rate among returning citizens.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Keep up the good work. And I have seen a number of your upcycled products down there, and I actually own several of them. So,
keep up the good work.
You as well. Thank you. All right. Any announcements, Glenn?
No, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's not an announcement, but Ken Heinzmeltz, I didn't say I'm from Harristown. But I think we have a basic question, and is a study or feasibility committee ever going to be moved? I emailed the commissioner, all 3 of you, about a week ago. It sounded like last month that there might be some movement on this and a motion to establish a study or feasibility committee. Is that going to happen? Is anybody going to make a motion? I don't think I can make a motion, can I?
Well, no, but what I'd like to do is I will relay all your comments, as I indicated earlier, to our board chair. So, I guess it's his purview, if you will, to address this on the next level. And I will direct it to him, and I will make sure that your comments are noted and make sure he's aware of the urgency that you bring. So we will do that.
All right. Well, we encourage you to establish a feasibility study committee. It might cost some money for a feasibility study committee. I don't know. I think that if you were very serious about it, it would. If you'd have to look at, what improvements would we need, facility, staffing costs, and so forth.
Right.
So I outlined some of those things in my message to you all, and I really encourage you, so that we don't have to keep showing up en masse to move forward.
Appreciate that, and thank you very much, and I will convey that sentiment. All right, any other announcements?
No, sir.
If not, is there a motion to adjourn? There's no need for an executive session. Okay.
Move to adjourn?
Motion by Amber, second by Mark. All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. All right, we stand adjourned, and our next meeting is June 8th at 8 a.m. here at the correctional facility. All right, and thank you very much everyone for coming out, and I will relay the